Welcome back to another episode of Aunt and Andrew with Family's Everything.
Until it's not.
Your betcha
Hell,
until it's not. I just found out a new feature, guys. If Aunt
oh yeah,
not, I can
he's
send her.
playing with the Zoom.
I can send her to the waiting room. It would kind of be like that epic scene from like season one of New Jersey when Danielle Staub's at the bar by herself, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, scumbag, you didn't come and meet me for our date. You're probably some big fat banker, and you saw
Oh
how
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
I
yeah.
was."
Remember that? Yeah,
Know
yeah,
how
yeah.
pretty
I
and hot
remember
I was.
that too.
Well,
Yeah.
but have a nice day or don't die.
You want to know what I thought you were going to do to me when you said I got this new feature?
What?
Election night. Michael Cohen, if you remember who
Yeah,
Michael
yeah.
Cohen is, all right,
He does a lot of
was
TikTok lives.
yeah, and he was doing it live. And people kept on making him a turkey. And it's hysterical. And he's
Yeah.
like, cut it out, loser. Cut it out. I'm going to block you. And as soon as,
You know that on those lives they make us so much money because like people send them on TikTok, they send them these tokens. I've done it before with Renee
oh, okay.
Graziano.
Got it.
I
Got
did it
it.
when Renee Graziano did her first one because I felt bad because she came out of the drug coma. So I was trying
Oh,
to
good
I
for
was sending her
Renee.
I was sending her
One of the best lines ever.
I was sending her jewels and stuff, and she goes, "Oh,
Oh.
thank you, Andrew, for the jewel."
Well, but
Michael
the funny
Cohen's funny
part
though. He does the
with
same thing.
Michael Cohen was that every time he would block someone who was making him a turkey,
That's so funny.
somebody else would make him a
Oh
turkey.
yeah.
And it just kept on going. And he's like, all right, you're all pissing me off. And then I'd make him like have funny glasses and stuff. It was hysterical. I'm telling you,
Could
go
we do that
watch
to
it.
Alexis Bellin-HO?
Oh, it would be so good. Like I'm crying right now. It made me laugh so hard that day. It was so funny. Just thinking about Michael Cohen being a turkey. It's funny.
Okay. What did you
Anyways,
think about part dose?
well, I mean, should we get to the big stuff? Or let's start with the little stuff. Like
Let's
Emily
start.
is
Let's
is
start.
Emily has severe weight issues in
Yeah,
her head. She's still overcome by that. You
I
know
think
what I
she'll
mean?
always have it, and I think it's
Yeah, but
fair.
I hope she gets some help for it, is what I'm saying. I think she needs to talk to someone about getting that noise out of her head.
She's reminded every day about the structure of her body because her husband's also a small person.
Yeah. I don't
You know
like
what I
to
mean?
I
Do you know
don't
what I
want
mean?
to
Like you could
yeah, I
gain a
know
little
exactly
weight.
what you mean.
You could gain a little weight. You could lose a little weight. You're never going to be bigger than your husband.
Never, never, no,
And I
no,
just think
no.
that that's
Right.
a comfort for women. Like,
Oh, yeah,
you know
that
what I'm
she's
saying?
so much bigger than her
And if
husband.
she
Yeah.
gains a little weight, it might even be even more. Like, if you gain a little weight, it's not like you're comparing to my uncle, like, oh, like based on him. It's like, I think like when you're just
I
bigger,
know what you're
harder.
saying.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you. Um,
And not just bigger, taller. Like, there's a lot there. It's
Yeah,
not,
yeah. No,
yeah.
we everybody gets it. I'm gonna say this, and I don't like to say this, but I'm still gonna do it.
Shocker.
Um, she's her wardrobe choices don't help. Her
Well, I
reunion
think that a
look
lot of these
makes her
OC
look
women, the
like a
camera,
linebacker.
the
Huh?
production company that they use, their cameras don't do well with spray tans.
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah.
All of them look like they have horrible wrinkles. Tamra. Oh, Tamra
Yeah,
looks
she
like she
looks
went, like Tamra
horrible.
looks horrible. And I don't think it's how she
Yeah.
normally looks. I do think a lot of it is camera angle because there's
Yeah.
no way she'd be comfortable walking around looking like that.
No, and I think some of it is the spray tans are off the chart on this
Yeah.
show more than others. Yeah,
Yeah.
without they're spray tanned all the time. You're right. Okay.
Say it again.
Huh?
Say it again.
Say what again?
I'm right. Say it
Yeah,
again.
you're right. Oh yeah,
Oh, thank
you're
you.
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're
Thanks.
welcome.
Thanks.
Um, okay, first of all, I want to tell everybody, like I'm looking at my notes and I
Never
want
looks like you're looking at your nose.
no, I'm not looking at my notes. I'm looking at my notes and I have a confession to make because
Oh
this
yeah.
is funny. I couldn't find a piece of paper. Um, and so I started writing on this. And then when I got to the first page, I thought this was like a little notepad. And then I went to open it and I realized it is the laundry list from a hotel I stayed at. Oh, it's a good hotel. It was a Ritz-Carlton in Grand Cayman. I highly recommend it.
But this is the bigger question I have. When did you
But
go there?
February.
So the one thing you could find was the laundry list from a hotel you stayed in at February, almost a year later. And I
Yeah,
don't know how that made it out of the hotel room with you. Because
I
even
don't
if you
either.
use the bag to like put your dirty clothes in and put in your luggage, because
Maybe
I
it
do
was,
that,
I don't know. It's just
I always
it's
take the piece of paper off and just leave it. I don't bring it with me.
it's a mystery.
Haven't you used the plastic bag that they give you
All
before?
the time, of
Yeah,
course.
same.
Yeah, 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 of course. All the time. I put my dirty laundry in there.
Well, I'm happy that you were resourceful.
I mean, it's hysterical. I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever
Look
done.
at there you go. That's your recycling paper. You're not wasting it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to tell you, only the outside was good to write on. I tried to write on this side and it wasn't good. I just
Oh,
want you.
tips by aunt.
It was like it's like plasticky and it wouldn't take my ink.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's the episode for today. If you ever need to write on your laundry sheets at your hotel, Aunt says don't write on the inside, only on the outside.
Okay, well, I had to lighten this up because um uh
Reunions are hard to recap,
they
first and
are hard to
foremost,
recap.
because
I
they're
think
recapping the season. So we're recapping their recap.
right. Okay, so I think what is her name? Kylie? Yeah, like Jenna,
Daughter,
right?
Katie's daughter, yeah.
Right. It totally needs to be put in a timeout. She needs to
Oh,
go in the
unhinged,
waiting room. Yeah, yeah,
unhinged.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm
I
happy
mean,
Shannon. See, this is why everyone keeps saying this is Shannon's best reunion. I think it is definitely just because of how she's able to hold herself together and everything around
right.
herself. But I even think that she's showing her maturity and her matriarch on the show.
Well,
Sorry,
she is the
Tammy
oldest.
Sue.
Well, I mean, she is
Sorry,
the
Tammy
oldest
Sue.
minus
Sorry, Heather Dubrow.
with the other
Shannon,
one.
and sorry, Vicky Gunvalson.
Vicky, I was gonna
Shannon
say.
Bedore is the queen of the OC right now.
She
And
is.
she's
She's the
not just,
matriarch.
she's not like I think when Kate Middleton came into the, royal family, for a hot
Yes.
second, though she wasn't the matriarch, she wasn't the most mature, she wasn't the most powerful, she was the it girl for a little bit. Even for
Yes.
a couple of weeks before it all went downhill, Meghan Markle was the it girl, the cool one, the new
Yeah,
one.
yeah, 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 yeah. Right.
But the queen's still the queen. And
Yes.
Shannon Bedore, you are the
Well, the
queen
queen
right now.
died.
Yes, I get it.
But
But
see, the queen died,
okay, but
and
let me
the
finish my
king
stance.
became, and the prince became the king, and Kate Middleton is
And
sort
she
of the
will be a
queen.
great
She
queen. She
will be
will.
the queen. Yeah,
But
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying is, Shannon, you are not having to have the last word. You're not having to be the loudest. You're sitting there. You're the almighty Oz. You're powerful, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is, what I liked is that how she was able to go at Katie about her daughter, even
Yes.
though they're on the same side. And I liked, and I have to say, this is why, Katie, I think you may have another season in you.
Yeah.
You didn't do a Jen Pedrante, because I do also understand where Emily's coming from regarding Jen. I think it's very
Yeah,
simple
totally
to
with the
say,
kids and the whole
nothing's
bit.
gonna get, no, no, no. Even before that, Emily wants Jen. She doesn't want her to drag Ryan. She wants her to admit that maybe having 16 million go through your account from your best friend, you should have known that that wasn't a good choice.
They just, I mean, there's nothing normal about anybody
Immunity
wanting to
because you're,
put 16 million through your name
and I'm
into an account
sure part of the
ever.
deal was that if he ever got in trouble, his friends didn't have to like stay super loyal. Like it was okay for them to get immunity, say what they know, and the guy
Right.
was willing to take the risk for his
Own
own
benefit.
behavior. And he got lucky that the guy who sent the money was doing something illegal. Because if he wasn't, the guy in the middle really would have been more in trouble. And
Yeah.
maybe Ryan would have been too. But my point
Right.
there is that Katie's not trying to defend her daughter's actions in the same way that Jen's even trying to defend Ryan. Like, I liked it how
True.
Katie just took it. And I think Katie will like actually have a storyline next season because now what she can do, if her
Mm,
daughter wants to maybe be a part of it too, bring your
yeah.
daughter on and have her apologize to the ladies.
Yeah, there's a
There's
whole
that whole
segment
thing.
there. Yeah, there is totally. Um,
Katie, if you need any advising for next season, Odds
yeah,
and I
we'd
are
love to
available.
advise you. I also, when you talked about how you think Shannon is doing well this reunion, I'm going to say Tammy Sue is trying to maintain her
She's doing well
composure.
too.
Yeah, she is because she
Got another
knows,
season because of this reunion so
right?
far.
She knows that she was
Dupe.
on everybody's crap list.
And that Alexis duped her.
Yes. And she's trying her best to not continue her. I will say this, Tammy Sue realizes that she came off bad this season. And she is making sure she's trying to take a little water out of the sinking ship.
In addition to that, you know how you asked if Alexis is using the LGBTQ as like a to get attention and
I don't
storyline,
think they're using it. I just think sometimes they're
embellishing it.
deferring to it too often.
Okay, well,
That's
let
the
me tell
word.
you, I don't think Alexis is. I
Mm,
think Heather is. In the same
yeah.
way, but listen, in the same way that Tammy Sue knows she came on too hard this season, I
Mm,
think Heather Dubrow knows that based on watching back the footage, knowing what happened with Johnny J, Shannon trying to give him the money and him not wanting to take it, everything that's come to the surface now, and then watching Alexis's erratic behavior.
hmm.
I have a feeling Heather's embellishing that, not embellishing, but she's using the common um situation in their families, LGBTQ,
Yeah. Yeah.
as a way to justify her loyalty and relationship with Alexis
Yeah.
instead of having it to be the reality that she trusted her too much and liked the whole Shannon and John thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because Heather
And
doesn't want to admit she was wrong
yeah. And Heather doesn't want to make it out like she was purposely a little
going after
bit.
Shannon.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
instead she could be like, well, I'm close with Alexis because of the LGBTQ.
Yes. And then that's, I do
So I
believe
don't think
that's,
it's mutually as beneficial on Alexis's side because I don't think she cares as much, but Heather's using it for sure. But it's
as
not
a,
even for herself, it's for her relationship with Alexis.
yes, because no matter what anybody says and no matter how they try to backtrack, without a doubt, Tamara and Heather are conspiring to how they can get at Shannon.
Well, and here's the deal. In
Because I
past
think they both
seasons,
realize Shannon is the queen right now. And you know what? The little ladies in waiting are always waiting to take down the queen.
that's true, but I also think in past seasons, Shannon hasn't been as strong as she's been this season. Like, and that's something that
True,
I hope
true.
Shannon, if
And I think
Tammy
they thought she was going to be weak.
Well, I think that they've all been weak. They've all come into these seasons with, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be in control of my emotions. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to not trust
All of the above.
men like
Yeah,
Brooks, Vicky.
right.
And then they come in and then they get kind of like they fall for someone new. Someone else triggers them. They have
Yeah,
another
all of that.
problem. Shannon, and this is why I think Gina has come out so strong for Shannon. It's because the proof is in the pudding.
Yes.
Gina has seen Shannon
Mm-hmm.
actually address her issues. And for
Correct.
her, that is growth. And I think Gina sees it for what it is. Tammy and Heather just assumed they were going to get the same empty promises. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't. And
They
so I
didn't.
hope next season, if Tammy and Heather can actually come around and be like, Shannon, we're sorry. We were both wrong.
Mm.
I hope Shannon can at least have the just like the ability to say, listen, we've all tried on this show to be better people. We've all tried to be better friends. We've all tried to do this. I had no choice at this point in my life because I was so emotionally invested with John. I was so heartbroken. I was using alcohol to cope. I was out of control. I don't fault you guys for thinking I wasn't going to do it.
Right.
You have to now be willing to understand that I did.
Correct.
I get that with Shannon because I was in this, I think you know this with me. Remember how I said, like, there came a point in my recovery where I said, people need to stop talking to me and treating me the same way that they did when I was
Did
a mess.
when I was messed up. Yeah.
And when I said that to you, there were a few little things. We don't have to,
Yes. Yeah, we don't
but
have to
you
get
were like,
into
you're
it.
right. I am treating you that way. Well, my
Yeah.
other people in my life, not going to say specifics, they
Right.
still do at times, multiple people. It's not just one or two people. They
Right.
still do, and I try to give them grace, but it's where we have issues. And so I think it's the
Yeah.
same with Shannon. It's
I
like
know. That
she
was true. And
changed
that
her
was one of,
decision.
yes. And first of all, I feel like I'm a little shiny. Would it be bad if I did a
No, I think
housewife
you're
thing?
fine. You can do that if you want to.
I just feel like I'm looking at myself here. I'll be honest. I feel like I'm such a housewife. They are going to be casting for the Real Housewives of Boston, but I
Oh,
don't want to
really?
be one.
Why
I don't.
not?
Nah, no. Anyways,
I think you have other interests.
I do have other interests. As Andrew was saying, that's something I think has nothing to do with this show, but I'm going to say it. If you have people who've made remarkable
Changes.
changes in their life coming to recovery
Yep.
and are sober now, respect they are different people.
Or give them the chance, but also don't try to give them this chance on the same. You have to get to know them as to who they are now because they're not going to do the same things that they did before.
Yeah,
They
no,
still have,
I'm
yeah.
just saying that I'm just telling people, on the recipient end, so to
Because I have
speak,
for example, I have
that
someone in my
Andrew
life.
had to say to
Yeah.
me, I am not the same person. Stop treating me that way. And he was right. And I had a okay moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. And I thanked him for doing
Yeah.
that.
And I have
Okay.
other people in my life that haven't, including people very close to me. And like one of them,
Right.
for example, it's like, it's always like, oh, well, we don't do fun things or whatever. I wonder who that is. Like
I
the only
know
person
who
I would
it
ask this.
is.
But lately I've been saying to that person, it's my partner, I'll just say it.
Yeah.
It's like we have to find new fun things, or we have to we like the same things we used to do don't work anymore because they don't work with my reality. And so I think that's a problem Shannon and Tamara may have, maybe less with Heather Dubrow because she's not as like Trace Amigas, tequila, let's get black
Right. Yeah.
off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with Tammy, it's like, Tamara, you like to work out. Like, make that your new thing with Shannon. Or you both have kids that are a little bit, older and the same age. Or like, find something that can be
Find
a
something
common
else that
thread
brings you
with Shannon.
together. Right. Exactly. Okay. So in she came.
Oh, it was
The
gross. It was
Black
like,
Widow
did you
herself. Well,
just
she's
like
not a
feel
Black
so
Widow,
dirty
but
because of it?
I mean, like, what can we call her? She's not a Black Widow because she hasn't killed anybody yet, but she just has like
Delusional Daisy? I don't
a
even know. She's so
cloud.
stupid.
There's so much of like an evil witch in a Disney
Oh yeah,
a
like an evil stepmother.
yeah, like in one of these Brothers Grimm's sort of fairy tales from the 1600s.
I
She
actually think
kind of
she's more like the witch in Snow White because I think she like gets the poison apple like behind the scenes. Like
Yeah,
she
but she's even it has to be a different look. It's almost like Maleficent. I'm just
maybe.
saying, it goes to another level. There's almost like do you ever see Mummy Dearest? She
No. She's
almost
like
reminds
Ursula
me,
and like the two little eels are Tammy Sue and Heather Dubrow.
yeah, no, but there's almost like a Mummy Dearest quality to her.
Something
That's
gross.
what's with something about her. And I can't stand Alexis Bellino.
I can't either. Just because she comes on like,
Is she going to become Alexis Jansen?
oh, I hope not. But I will say, like, okay, listen, listeners, we want you to say something here. Like, I think that Aunt and I have both tried
Don't really care, and I don't.
to try to just be like, okay, listen, I think at first we came onto the season thinking with Shannon, like, especially because of my closeness with like drinking and alcohol and all that stuff, to be very much, okay, she's gonna have to be accountable for her behavior. And like she was off the bat. And then I think
Hmm.
like we've all witnessed bad relationships. And even though like John Jansen didn't treat Shannon great,
Yes.
Shannon covered for him a lot. And also, I think that because of the alcohol and the drinking and driving and stuff, we just automatically assumed like it takes two to tango. Like,
Yeah.
so it wasn't
Yeah.
just John,
Right.
and it must have been like there must have been Shannon's part too. And I
Correct.
think that like Alexis, you screwed yourself because even John Jansen, like in his interviews with with Alexis, you can tell he's not going so hard at Shannon because it's like he doesn't want to say what he did.
He doesn't have to go hard at Shannon. He's got his little mouthpiece doing
But
it
even
for
and even
him.
Shannon doesn't want to go hard at John because I think there's a part of Shannon that's like, but I didn't help the situation. Like, and so
Well,
they're
you know
kind
what
of,
the thing is?
yeah,
Here's the thing. Shannon and John know what happened between Shannon and
behind
John.
closed doors.
Yes. Shannon knows, John knows. Who doesn't know what really happened?
Alexis.
Alexis.
And neither
Okay.
does Tamara and
No,
Pat
nobody
and
else
others,
does,
but they're hearing it from Shannon and they're hearing John's version through
of
Alexis.
it. Right.
And I just think that there's this like Alexis, you could have come on the show and you could have
But tell me something. Here,
made a
stop. Time out.
choice.
Who talks nice about their ex?
Right away in this type of a timeline, no one.
Okay. All right.
It
So,
takes years. Like it takes a child together. It takes going through the loss of a parent. It takes like something in that brings that person back to you on good terms because there's no way this bullshit like and it happens a lot in the gay community where guys will date for like 5 years and then they'll put up this big long sobby status that's like John and I made the mutual decision to part ways. We're so grateful. And you read right through it. It's like we've been hanging out with the same gays, going to the same clubs, going to the same social parties, and we don't want to lose any of our friends. So we want you
Oh.
guys to think this was a mutual decision so that you all love us and so that we all still keep getting invites until you put us around us too soon. And then we start screaming at each other, and then you guys have to pick sides, and then we both lose you. So that's it. But my point is that it
Oh, well,
doesn't
I wasn't
happen.
expecting that.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen
Right. Okay. So no, great, doesn't.
unless you
I,
come back.
okay. Well, here's the thing that nobody has a good breakup or you wouldn't break
No,
up.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. And so everything John is telling Alexis is twisted
Of
because of the
course.
breakup.
Of course.
And and so it puts Shannon at a disadvantage because she doesn't have another mouthpiece. Nobody else is speaking for her. She doesn't have a friend speak. Actually, Gina speaks for her a little bit. Some of the girls were like, we knew this was a problem with John Jansen. We thought he was controlling. She has, but nothing compared. But Alexis has bought it hook,
But
line,
here's
and
the other part.
sinker.
There's a level of drama and suspense that surrounds Alexis's view and her words and John's view and his words because they haven't been full-time cast members divulging and sharing their lives for
For
10
10 years.
seasons like
Right.
Shannon Bedore. And
Right.
that's the part where I'm like, the viewers are not duped. And that's why the
No,
reality of
we're
social
not
media
dupes. That's why
is
everybody is
yes.
after
But
Alexis.
Tamara and Heather are trying to get a check, and they're like, if they put Alexis on the show, and like Bravo though is doing at least the good work at the end of the day, they are showing Shannon as the winner. And I think Shannon Bedore is the one that is really winning all of this because
Always.
Alexis is now losing at her own game. She
Yeah.
like won halfway through the season. She was at a peak. She had all the women on her side. They were coming full force. And one by one, it's like the flower in Beauty and the Beast. Soon
Yeah.
the rose is gonna fall, the last
Just
one of the
boom,
rose petal.
boom, boom.
And
Yeah.
Alexis, you're not gonna know how to love, and you're gonna be
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah, totally. But like I said, slowly every single person is like, you're crazy. I
Yep.
mean, what Shannon said to her was, I mean, Shannon was just amazing. And I think my favorite part of the whole episode 2 reunion,
Was
part
what?
2, was when Alexis came out and started squawking about the defamation suit against Jim Bellino.
Oh yeah.
And Andy and Shannon just started talking in the middle of it. Didn't listen to her at all. He's like, well, he sued you for that. Maybe you shouldn't bring it. Oh, but I won. Oh, yeah, you did. That's great.
Exactly.
Andy asked her a question and then he started having a conversation with
But the thing
Shannon,
is
and
that when
she
you
kept on going. And for a minute there, she should have said, hey, wait, I'm talking to you right now. What are you
exactly,
talking to her for? No, it
exactly.
was Andy's way of saying, Shannon's my girl.
But also
And
Shannon is
I'm,
the full-time cast member. Like you're right about
yeah.
that, Shannon. And I also think that you sit back and you say to yourself, who gave
And he
Alexis
laughed about
Bellino
it.
this advice? Like
He
who
wasn't
was in her
listening to
ear
her.
telling her?
Yeah. Well, John.
But okay,
And
but
I'm going
here's
to
my
tell
thing,
you,
Alexis,
I
you've been on
think,
TV for 15 years and you're listening to your boyfriend who
I
never came
think
on the show and no one
Johnny
liked.
J, I think Johnny J gave her material. And I think that Tamara and Heather gave her the oxygen and water to make that seed grow.
Maybe,
That's
maybe.
how I feel about it. He gave her material and she went to Tamara, she did, and she went to Heather, she did, and was like, "Oh, well, let's do it this way." They manufacture every single scene.
But who do you think? Okay, so who's your mess then of this whole thing? Is it Alexis, even though she wasn't there that long? I feel like she's gonna have to be the mess next
Oh,
week.
yeah, of course she's a mess. I mean, show her the door. Show her the
That
door.
clearly was planted too, though. That's the funny part of
See
that
what
whole
I mean?
thing. It was all fake.
There's the door, Shannon Bedore.
And
And I
it's
loved
fake.
how Shannon said it, with the way Shannon just went and
Oh,
said, how many times do you practice that? There's the door, Shannon Bedore. And there wasn't even a door. There
and there
wasn't
wasn't
even
even
a
a door
door. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because she had practiced that ad nauseum. And the
at
whole
nauseum.
way that she kept on talking, she was the one who brought up the videos in the car.
Exactly.
She brought up all of this. The women are sitting there just like, oh, let's feed into this crazy. I mean, because
But
that's what they do on these shows. They sit around and they feed into each other's crazy a little bit. Let's face it.
they do, but I also just feel that there's this, like, we're at a point now with OC where it's
We're
good
at a
again.
point. Yeah.
It's good again. And I just
Yes.
think that, like, you brought Alexis on. She didn't ruin Tamara and shit. Like, we've seen this in other shows.
Yeah.
Monica came on and it like was a huge thing. It was great drama, but then she couldn't come back.
Right.
Lisa
Yeah. Yeah.
Vanderpump
Yeah.
decided to stop filming. That was devastating.
Yeah.
Okay, you're at a
Got
point
it.
now where Shannon and Tamara are hanging by a good, solid strength thread. It's
Yeah.
not loose. It's not breaking.
No, it's like
They
a piece
can
of gauze.
they can film
It's a little
together.
bit stronger than a
Heather
thread.
is engaged, and Heather had a really good season where she actually fits in.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like Heather was out of place. Heather was very involved. Emily was very involved. Gina's very involved. Kate
Yes.
didn't ruin things and came in and was very involved. And Jen
True.
Paranti has a voice. You don't need
Yeah.
any new
Finally, Jen.
housewives. You don't
Yeah.
need any new housewives. You can bring back all the full-time ones, and you don't need to bring back John Jansen and Alexis Bellin-HO. Maybe if the season's dull, you
You
could
know
bring
what though?
the finale.
I'm going to say this, and I know it won't happen, but I would love for it to happen.
And what would that be, Auntie?
I would love Kelly Dodd back.
Maybe.
I'm going to tell you, first of all, she got
I
a
just
hot
don't know if it
husband,
got
Rick
that far.
Leventhal.
I
Number
don't know if it
two,
happened, if it got that far.
and I want to tell you, she throws so much shade on her Instagram. She was like, hey, oh, first of all, she hates Alexis Bellin-HO. She goes on
Oh,
and on about how
I
much
know
she
that.
hates, and she hates Heather Dubrow. She hates Heather Dubrow and she hates Alexis Bellin-HO. And oh, was she throwing shade on poor Gina this week? She was going on and on as that. How long has she been on this show? She's still living in that little casita or whatever. Why don't she find herself a rich guy? Dump that Travis. He's just like a normal person. She needs somebody rich.
And
I mean,
and
and that's what we need. We kind of need somebody like that because that show doesn't have it right now.
but I also think that we need to be
She'd be a
like,
flamethrower.
here's the deal. She's not in a bad place right now with Andy. She's in a good place. I think that you need to think of future, right? I think that okay, this I'm gonna say something kind of political, but it's gonna make sense, I hope. And we don't need to dive into politics. Put Kelly Dodd on the next season. I think that Kelly Dodd,
Oh, not the coming season, two
yeah, I
seasons.
just think it could be a low-hanging fruit. There's a lot of emotions. It's Trump's first year back in office, and I just think like don't throw Kelly Dodd on where it's then someone on the left's ability to be like use politics as a way to be like, well, you're back because this, or you think this, you think that. I think I want Kelly
No,
Dodd
I think Kelly
back in
Dodd,
without them.
Kelly Dodd can come back anytime. And her and Rick, oh, but you know what? Rick might not want it.
He may not.
They show enough of their life on their daily podcast, but they can't because they do a daily podcast, Kelly
Yep.
and Rick show, and I love it. And I think they probably expose enough of their life on that.
Maybe.
And he's back on news every night on Newsmax and stuff, so he probably doesn't need it.
Yep. I
Yeah,
agree with
why?
you.
Why? I mean, only bad things can happen to that sort
That's
of.
the thing. Like, I think that they can, I just don't think that they need to, I just don't think that they need to be
They
back this
don't
season.
need to be
You know what
okay,
it is?
but
I don't think they need to bring anyone. That's what I'm trying to
well,
say to
you
you.
know what
I don't
though?
think they need anyone new this next year.
But the television star, Alexis Bellin-HO, might be out of a job.
Maybe,
I'm
but at the
telling
same
you.
time, I
I
think
am
that
telling you.
I
You know, she's
agree.
a TV star.
I agree.
She's a TV star.
I know. But what I'm trying to say to you is I don't think they need anyone this season. Like, I think this is a good opportunity for them to not
No,
bring
but is no, I'm
in.
talking about Alexis Bellin-HO's a TV
I
star.
know that she is. I know that.
Now, do you think she'll be back? Oh, do we need to
I
see
don't
one
think
more
so.
episode?
I don't think so. That's what I'm trying to say to you. I really don't think so. I
What are
think
you doing? I want to ask Andrew something.
I'm putting my bet in before the 1 o'clock game.
I was just gonna say, Andrew is placing a bet right now
Well, the game, Aunt keeps
on a
talking about
game
things
that he is
that
playing.
starts at 1 o'clock and it's
It's
12:56. Okay. So
and
you know what?
he doesn't. I have to call him out on this. He doesn't think any of us have noticed it. I just want you all to call him
I
out.
don't think that. I just appreciate that you guys are letting me multitask.
Okay, in other words, it's my show. It's the aunt show
I did it. It
with
took
the
me
my
3 minutes. I'm done.
co-host, with
Who
the
is your mess?
co-host Andrew. Um, well, I want to say there's a lot of messy people, but it's Alexis. It's always been the mess,
Okay, but
Alexis.
I think Alexis needs to be the mess for next week
Okay,
because
all
I know it's
right.
going to
I
happen.
think sometimes,
Okay.
yeah, I saw the previews. They're so good. I just want
What do you
everybody
mean
to
the
know that.
previews are so good?
The preview's so good. I'm just gonna say I unfortunately I watched the 6 minute preview
Oh,
is
the
all I'm
intro.
going
You
to
mean the
say.
extension, like the new, like
Yeah, like the whole the
the
thing. Do you know
continuing.
what? Yeah, yeah, like a day or two later on YouTube on Bravo, they post the next 6, 8 minutes. The
I
first.
know. They do
Yeah,
it for
yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, I know, but he's still making a bet. He
Yeah.
doesn't
Because I
think.
told you that I want to know who your mess is, and you just kept
I said
talking.
Alexis, and you told me it couldn't be till next week.
I think that the mess this week, in my opinion, just has to be, I guess it has to be Alexis, but it could be if we
It
went
could
off
be
of
a
like
little
kind of
Katie.
Katie and
That
a little bit of
Emily.
Emily a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
don't
But
think so.
but
So
not big time. All right,
yeah.
next week we will be back.
Love you guys.
And
What?
the Real Housewives of Beverly
Oh yeah,
Hills
baby.
starts this week.
Are
So
you
there'll be
excited
even
for it?
more Aunt and Andrew. Even though the OC is ending, we've got Beverly Hills beginning.
Are
So
you excited for it?
Beverly Hills. Yes.
All right, guys. Well, we love you. We hope
Love
that you
you.
have a great week ahead. And yeah,
We hope Andrew wins some money on his bets
I
today.
always do. Bye,
All
guys.
right. Bye.